Happy Tuesday. What's going on? Hi, everyone. Hi, everybody. Good evening, everyone. Come on in. Say hello. 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 I just remembered. I just saw it and I'm like, I gotta let them know I got there. Uh, Hi, everybody. Before I forget, let me send this email real quick. It is crazy what's going on in the immigration world. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Hello, Miss 𝐸𝐲𝐿. How are you? Hello, Miss Bing Pei. Let us know where you're coming in and joining in from. Hello. Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday. I ripped my top with my. This is the problem with net, whatever. Oh, better still, the problem with weighing too many. I don't have a lot of jewelry, but you see how this sharp end, yeah. So I don't know how I did it. It just ripped it off. This just like 2 minutes ago. Oh well, it is what it is. Thank you for joining Miss 𝐸𝐻𝐵 from Dallas, Texas. It is hot, y'all. If you are living in the South, it is hot. Like it is. Greetings. Hello, Miss Deborah. Where are you joining us from? It is hot. It is hot. Hello, 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Thank you. Welcome. Hi, Facebook and YouTube family. Y'all, yeah, we missed each other on Thursday because I'm festing me. I was like, gotta take a break. Let's go. But good to be back. Good to see everybody. Oklahoma. All right. It's amazing how many Nigerians I'm finding out actually live in Oklahoma. I don't know about the other countries and immigrants, but I'm getting quite a number of clients that live in Oklahoma for. I should get 86 degrees. Well, we're in 98 degrees in Alabama today. It was ridiculous. I was like, Barney, hellfire, let me think of all the sins I've and forgiveness for. But anyway, hi everyone. This is attorney Abisella at 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. I'm an immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. If you've got an immigration case, it was a case that we handle to include fiancé visa, citizenship, VAWA, H1B petition, marriage, employment, green card applications, 751 change of status, some removal proceedings, asylum. Hello, Mr. Israel. We'll be glad to represent you. And we will be glad to represent you. So contact our office, 334-341-4475. Visit our website at 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕.com. Email is info@𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕.com. Same number on WhatsApp. We do not have any other number besides 334-341-4475, 334-341-4482. So those two numbers. If it doesn't start with 334-341, I'm okay in the office. So make sure that you are very, very you're careful, because there's still someone who is getting money from people, especially on TikTok, and using my image. It is, keep me. Hello, Miss Fumbi, how are you? So, same number on WhatsApp. We only do text message on WhatsApp, but Lydia, my girl on WhatsApp, is usually very, very quick to respond. I wouldn't say she's on there every day. Is weekends kind of like slow down because obviously our office is not open on the weekend. But TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, LinkedIn at 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. We'll be glad to represent you and your family members just coming in. Let's talk immigration, y'all. So I think it's been a while that we did questions, but if you want to know recent updates, I think we put up a post last week about updates in immigration. But let me just say this before we go. So questions night, that's what we have tonight. Put in your questions in the comment section. I'm appealing. Please do not repeat your questions. just put in your question. We'll try to get to as many as possible. It's been a long day for me, so I'd rather do question night tonight, to be honest with you, than talk. I've been talking all day. I started my day with going, because I do criminal defense in Alabama as well. So I started my day with, I've got a full court day tomorrow, criminal cases in the morning. And then I'm also an attorney for Department of Family Services in Alabama. We call it Human Resources in our state. We've got hearings for dependency, for whether the kid was stay in custody, meaning the state custody, or go back home. That's in the afternoon. And so I had to go see my clients because some of my clients are in jail. And so, yes, I actually go to the jailhouse to spend time with clients because got to do what you got to do. So that, and then went back to meetings, from back-to-back meetings. And it's been a long day of talking. I was like, no, bring music. I can't even think of anything right now to even talk about tonight. That's just the questions. But don't repeat your questions, please. Put your questions in the comment section. Do not repeat. If you repeat your question, I'm going to skip it. So if you see that your question was not answered, and it's because you repeated it, you repeated your question, then it's going to be skipped. So help me. Let's work together on that one. So questions, responses to your questions are general information, nothing specific to anyone's case. So if you want something more detailed and tailored to your specific situation, that is going to require a paid consultation, which you can always schedule that on our website, @𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓.com. All righty. So I will give you a little bit of time and let everyone come in more. All right. Hello, Mr. Tuola. How are you? Hola. Yeah, I just came back, and it was good to get some time last week. It was good. It was needed. When you get to a point, your brain is just fatigued, and you just like, you know what? I got to shut everything down. And I got to experience what it is, the port of entry was like coming through Houston, which a lot of people coming through. Yeah, it's something. It's something what's going on in this country, but it's in God's hands anyway. We'll just take it a day at a time and just trust that God is, we trust and know that God is still in control. So whatever the situation is, He is still in control. We just have to keep trusting and believing that He's going to work all things together for our good, whether the enemy likes it or not. Hello, Miss Peggy. Shalom. I miss you too. It's good to be back. All right, then let's get to as many questions as possible. Let's see. Okay, I'll get to that in 1 second. All right, I'm going to start on Facebook and YouTube. And please share, because you never know who is. Oh, by the way, I think on Thursday we're going to go in depth. I needed to get more information about something but I want to go in depth about what's going on with VAWA and this ridiculous RFEs that they're issuing, as well as an uptick in people who have pending adjusting the status application, I-45, no run-ins with the law, nothing, and USCIS it's not issuing NTAs to people who have pending cases with USCIS under the guise of where their visa overstays. It's always been, but they're just getting whatever it takes for them to increase the number of people in removal proceedings. Another colleague of mine, just this evening, I was heading home. One of my colleagues sent me a message saying that, hey, hello, Miss Avena. How are you? We missed you. We definitely missed you. Sent me a message, and it was like, hey, what do you think I should do? Because this is not to alarm anyone, but she is back. Woohoo! It's good to have you back. But someone who's H1B was working for a company out in California. The employer terminated their employment. Normally, if you've got a termination and you're an H1B and you have a termination from an employer, you've got 60-day grace period to either find a new H1B employer, change your status, prepare to leave the country, whatever the case may have. Meets in the sanctuary. Mr. Abin is back. But my colleague texts me and says her client got a notice to appear in immigration court after their H1B status was terminated even though they are within the 60-day grace period, and they already filed a change of status application that is pending with USCIS. That's the level of ridiculousness that we're seeing. And it's almost a shame what's going on in this country. So we'll talk more about that on Thursday, but let's do questions tonight. Okay. Hello, Miss Mary. Thanks for today as well. Thanks for working with me, because I was meetings in the jailhouse. So actually you allowed me to push you back a little bit, but I'm still going to get with you. Give me till tomorrow at least, because my brain is in criminal court because I have that in the morning. And so I just sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna watch your research, because I'm like, every single area of practice that I'm in, that I do, the three main areas of practice are very adversarial. Like they are litigious areas that it's always something you're fighting. Immigration, family practice, criminal defense. It's all about someone's freedom, or liberating somebody. I don't know. And I don't do drama in my personal life. If you know me, you know that. So I think listen, that's my other life. But anyway, thank you. So I just find myself doing very, very adversarial areas of practice. I don't know. And I don't do drama in my personal life. I really don't. Unless you would rock it out. Okay. Hello, Mr. Mohammed. How are you? All right. Pending VAWA can protect people from deportation. Short answer, no. So real quick, it used to be, and I think we posted a video today. It used to be that, TJ is back. He's back from camp. Don't even get me started on that. My kid was almost stranded, coming back. I'm just going to leave that, because we may have to deal with that in court. So I'll just leave that alone. But anyway, I digress. It used to be that if you've got, so a pending VAWA petition, even though you've got the prima facie determination that makes you a qualified alien, that doesn't give you deferred action. That's just the truth of the matter. So a pending VAWA petition does not protect you from no, deportation is different. You're not being deported, but it doesn't prevent you from being placed in removal proceedings. Just the same way we're seeing USCIS issue NTAs to people who have pending I-485 applications, no issues whatsoever, because they claim their visa overstays. It's not like it's illegal. It's just that they've always been mindful that if you have a pending case, you're authorized to stay in the country with a pending I-485, and that's why before you leave the country, you should get an advance parole so you can come back in and resume your application. We're seeing NTA being issued to people that have pending applications to USCIS because they overstayed their visa. Of course, they overstayed their visa, but the unlawful presence is told when you file an I-485, and that I-485 authorizes you to stay. It does not confer on you any legal status, but that is just the truth of the matter of what we're seeing now. It is the reality of the times we're living in. God is going to intercede one way or the other, but until then, we're just going to take it a day at a time. So it doesn't. Short answer. Okay. What does NTA mean for someone whose petitioner canceled their I-130, but beneficiary has a pending I-360, 485 held in abeyance? What the risk and how is that navigated, please? What do you mean? What does NTA mean? When you issued an NTA, if you issued an NTA, that's a Notice European Immigration Court. And that's what I just explained, that you have in that pending case. Normally, in all the gotten those 200 and something years we've been doing this immigration work, I've been practicing immigration for almost 10 years now. It's going to be 10 years in October. I've never seen anything like this. Never. Where you've got a pending case. We never used to worry about this. When you have a pending case, you try to even file something. Or even some people, cases are denied and you may not even get NTA for donkey years. But they are trying to, they have goals every day. They're trying to, raise the number of people that they place in remote proceedings. It's just a whole mess. So there's nothing. You have your petitioner withdrawing the I-130. has nothing to do with your case, but it does not, you having a pending case now does not prevent USCIS from issuing an NTA. That's just reality. Do you think it's possible to win an asylum case? That's a very generic question. I mean, of course, people win asylum cases. Waiting for my EAD from VAWA since April 15. No receipt even. Expired on June 2nd. Am I still allowed to work until I get my receipt letter? I filed VAWA 2 years ago. How long do I do? Anything about processing time, go on uscis.gov/processing time. So that takes care of that. You're not the only one. We've got cases that were filed in March that we're just getting receipt notices. 4 months. It's not just you. Obviously, clients are very, very frustrated. I'm frustrated. The employers are asking, where's your receipt notice that extends your expired work authorization? There's nothing for us to show. So, I tell my clients, hey, listen, if you're welcome to contact USCIS yourself. Nothing is being done. That's just the truth of what we're seeing. Why it's being delayed, rather than them spending the time to issue receipt notices and they're spending time sending out boilerplate RFEs like you get an RFE, you got an RFE kind of craziness. And I think it's just them buying themselves time. And keep in mind, there's so much investigation of fraud going on with VAWA petitions. So it's almost like, even if you've got a very detailed case that you sent in, almost a boilerplate RFE is going to come your way. That's just what we're seeing. Okay, so I have a 10-year green card about to apply N400. Is it safe? I didn't file taxes because of hardship, but just paid 3 years taxes and now all clear with IRS. Now, will it be a problem? In N400 disclaimer, nothing specific to anyone's case, general information. I don't know anything about your case, but if you've been able to clear your taxes, you don't owe any back taxes. If you're concerned about whether or not that's going to affect you filing an N400 application, I would say go ahead and get yourself an attorney. Save yourself the trouble. Okay. Hi, Miss Sabina. Thank you for joining. Attorney goes live every Tuesday and Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hello, Miss Christiana. I still don't know what that means. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓 is like 1 day more something. Anybody? Like that, an additional day. What does that have to do with? I know it's not a literal translation. It's like a saying to say I haven't seen you a while, like a 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓, like it's been 3 days, or it's not necessarily 3 days, but it's been a while. But what does that have to do with it's been 3 days, like 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓, like, okay, so even more than that or something. I don't know. Y'all, you're very expert. Enlighten me. How does misdemeanor affect green card renewal or naturalization? It depends on if it's considered. Give me 1 second. SJ. Someone. TJ. SJ. Okay, somebody stop using the vacuum or whoever it is, because can you, TJ, come real quick. You leave it, boy. Is there something? T, can you tell your brother to whatever it is he's doing, can he quit that? And please close my door. Okay. So it depends on, first of all, what does your state, what is it classified as a misdemeanor, but is it going to be classified as a CIMT or aggravated felony when it comes to immigration? That's just not something that is, oh, this is how it's going to affect. You need to evaluate that specific charge and how that translates based on what it is that you're charged with. So that's something you sit down with a lawyer to decide before you file naturalization or renew your green card. Hello, Mr. Ojo. How are you? What is he doing? Boys. Okay. TJ. Anyway, am I allowed to work while EAD is pending? What do you mean? Are you allowed to? If you have your receipt notice, then it extends your and it's one of the categories that has automatic extension, then yes. General information, nothing specific to your case. So that's just what the policy is. So whether it applies to you, that's another question. It's a lot happening in the immigration world now, but let's hold on to our faith and know there is always light at the end of the tunnel. God is in control. Thanks, Ms. Abena. That is very much needed this time. If I pull my petition from my husband's, do that make me divorced? You mean, does that make you divorced? Do you, if you pull your petition from your husband's? I'm not really sure what you're asking. That's not sure. I don't understand your question. Okay, let's go to TikTok. All righty, let's see. Welcome. Hello, come on in, say hello. Greetings, TJ, beautiful queen. Thank you, Miss Deborah. Okay. Love your hair. Thank you. I just rebraided. You already know, because it makes my face always look smoother when I rebraid my hair. Like, you know how you rebraid your hair and it always makes my forehead wider. There's a lot of knowledge in that forehead. See? That's where the knowledge is. But you know how whenever I rebraid my hair, I remind myself of back in the day, back in Nigeria, where you know how your mother will put you, and I can still remember my mom's hand. And mommy, I want only back. Now how to pull your hair to either do the threading or the weaving, and your whole scalp is on fire for like 200 years. And when you're in boarding school, you can't even cry to nobody because they've already dropped you off 3 or 4 hours. They were 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒂𝒏𝒕. So I always remind myself like, that haunts me till 46, almost 47 years later. It still haunts my brain. So thank God I don't have a daughter, because I'm like, what? Yeah. So, but thank you. Where's my nephew? Well, you just saw him, or better, you heard him. Can an employer sponsor a DACA recipient for an EB3? They have a legal entry, but 1 year of unlawful presence. The unlawful legal entry, keep in mind that you're just not accruing on the unlawful presence, but DACA is not a status. So that legal entry helps you if you're getting married to a citizen. And so someone who entered illegally before and now has a legal entry, as long as you're able to adjust your status. But employment is different. Employment requires that you have a valid status in order for you to get a green card. So the EB3 petition itself can be approved. That's a standalone petition. The question is, will the person become eligible to adjust status? And generally, no, unless they have some exception, like a 245I exception where they're grandfathered in. That's just something they sit down with a lawyer to discuss. Can I travel outside the United States on an H2? Anything about travel? That's not the question I'm going to answer. Ask your attorney about that. How long is marriage-based employment authorization taking to be? USCIS processing times.gov. That will give you that answer. Okay, can I travel? Okay. Receipt notices, like I said, for cases, there's just no telling when you get that. It's not just you. If you feel you're just by, still owe you that seafood okra, waiting for your summer vacations. Because you know, I'm sure I'm going to be off another. Summer is time I love to travel. I really do. I love travel. Travel should be my middle name. If I had my way, I probably would just block out a whole month. Okay, it's just that I got bills to pay. Truth be told. But yeah, I haven't forgotten to. Let's see. Yeah, so valve receipt notices are taking a while. If you file single being married, that affects a single being married, that affects if you're filing, if you're reflecting your tax documents as single when you're married, you don't want a situation that's going to become a problem for you. Why would you want to do that? Is it true that people are getting a lot of denials for no objection waivers now, like a J1 visa holder? It's not like keep in mind, J1 waiver has always been discretionary. But for whatever reason, the Department of State is denying more waiver applications for no objection more than any other time. in spite of the no objection statement from your home country. So I can't really say it's strummed up, but we're seeing much more denials now compared to ever before. Because keep in mind, that is still a way for them to prevent people from staying back. What happens to F1 visa holders with 3 months visa and single entry with a 4-year study program? When you enter as an F1 visa holder, you're entering, and your I-94 is going to be duration of status. So that is not going to change because you're going to be in school. A visa stamp is just for you to come into the country. You don't need a visa stamp to stay in the country. What you need is a valid I-94. And Charlotte, if I knew you repeated your question, I would have not answered it. Okay, that's how you're going to say it. Okay, but what? Anyway, my friend has a 5-year convo. I-360 is being filed. Can he travel? No, that's not a question, management. Okay, you're the coolest. Thank you. Do I need another I-485 for VAWA when I have a pending I-485 with USCIS? Ask them to transfer it to your VAWA case, or file a new one once you have the receipt notice, which is taking 200 years. But once you get that, then you can notify them. If the old one is still pending, notify USCIS that you want to withdraw that because you have filed a new one. It's very important that you stress that you have filed a new one. If you withdraw one before you file a new one, please understand you're probably going to be placed in remote proceedings. Any little reason to give them to place you in remote proceedings, that's what they're doing. So do not give them a reason to do that. Okay. My son is turning 21 in October. Can he sponsor me? Can I start applying now? Do I need a lawyer? You're asking a lawyer if you need a lawyer. What do you think I'm going to say? But if your son is turning 21 in October, you can apply before he turns 21. Anyway, you can start preparing your case, but you can't. It would make sense for you to date anything until after he turns 21. So there's nothing that says he can't sponsor you. If he's not working, which I suspect he's probably still in school, then you just have to get a joint sponsor. Okay. Non-receipt notice came yet. No receipt notice came yet. Yes. So you're not the only one. VAWA was denied because of 1 day more of the 2-year period. Can it be reopened? When you say 1 day more of the 2-year period, I'm assuming you filed your VAWA petition after you got divorced and it was 2 years and a day. Is that what you mean? Thomas, I'm not going to call your last name. Is that what you mean? I do not want to be married anymore because he has no EAD, no I-130, no. Now he did not get approved for his EAD, but his bank account has done. I still don't understand what your question is. So, okay, I'm not really sure that is. Are you a citizen, or are you the one who filed for your Nola? Are you the one who filed for him, or he filed for you? I'm really struggling in trying to understand your question. So you filed for him. Okay, so you're saying that you want to now. Okay, so you want to now withdraw your petition that you filed. Is that what you're saying? If that's what, if that, okay, so you want to withdraw. Nothing says you cannot withdraw. I mean, I don't represent people who withdraw petitions, but nothing says you cannot. But because I represent people who file, so but it's still immigration related. So if you want to withdraw, that's your decision to make. But you withdrawing a petition that you filed and I-130 you filed for your spouse doesn't automatically mean that you're no longer married. You still have to go to go through your family court or divorce, whatever the name of your divorce court is in your state, to file a divorce properly from him. But just withdrawing your petition doesn't mean you're automatically divorced. Hello, Mr. Ufesa. How are you? Let's see. Okay. 86 degrees was good. Okay, tomorrow 86 degrees we're at 98 degrees today. But it's all good. We thank God. Because when it gets cold, we're still going to be the ones complaining. Hello, Miss Timmy Talk by. How are you? What's the assurance of getting a visiting visa from Germany to the United States? I'm sure I'm very sure you don't really expect the real answer to that question. Anyway. Welcome back, Miss Abena. We sure missed you. My sister's VAWA 360 was approved, but her previous husband brutalized against her to USCIS. Is that going to be a problem in her pending I-485? And thank you for bringing that up. I just remembered there was someone I was supposed to send because regarding something similar to that. Let me send her. She got a call-in letter interview regarding something about that. So, whether that's going to become an issue during the I-485 is yet to be seen. Sometimes the interviewing officer during your I-485 application have the discretion to recommend a revocation of the VAWA petition, underlying VAWA petition? Yes, they do. But there has to be substantial ground for that. So you just have to wait and see. Hopefully not. Yeah. Let me just tell you that I saw that picture. Okay. All right. Y'all, you're too funny. Okay. Welcome to the most positive immigration space on social media, social platforms, safest space to celebrate immigration victories and ask questions about new policies with what? We missed you, Miss Evita, for real. Does a student need to go to Nigeria to renew his expired F1 visa before resuming in another school for postgraduate studies? He just concluded his OPT and has been admitted to. No, I-94 is for F1 visa holders is duration of status. Basically means that you're going to be in the F1 status as long as you have an active service account, is not deactivated, and you have not violated your status. You're in school, you're doing OPT, CPT, you're maintaining your F1 status. So you don't need the visa stamp. The visa stamp is only required if you travel outside the United States and have to re-enter. Obviously, you're going to need a visa stamp to come back in because that is a document that allows you to come in. If you're not traveling, you're staying in country and just going from one school to another, then all you need is a valid I-94. My spouse filed I-130, I-485. I have initially interview scheduled next month. He hit me and I have a temporary restraining order against him. We're temporarily separated. I'm sorry to hear that. Taking anger management classes and doing marriage counseling. Will I be approved if I show up and explain the situation or just file for violent transfer? This is not a yes or no question. This is something Miss S, sit down with a lawyer you have time to do that now before your interview. So this is something you have to have a consultation with an attorney about. This lawyer has been taking us on trips and it's been fun. I wish. Okay, Miss Peg. Yeah. Okay, I wish. I would go. I wish I'm a man. Okay, I will go straight to propose me. Just be delicious. Listen, you know how you go to get some help and say, "Hey, my name is," and I'm the problem. That's me. I think I'm the problem of why I'm still single. It's me. It's not them. It's me. Because sometimes I wake up and I don't want nobody in my space. My mom thinks I'm too rigid. Didn't even get my mom started, but hey, my TJ was stranded. So they meet me in the diary room, aunties meeting. All you aunties, so let me talk. All you aunties that were like, where's TJ? Where's TJ? When you left TJ. SG and I went to a resort that is adult only. Just so you know, Miss Elena Sanctuary, Miss Abena, all you last born association members and president and treasurer, because I don't know what position TJ is. TJ is bloody 14 years old. It's not an adult. It was an adult only, number one. Number two, the kid was not interested in even going. That's number two. Number three, The kid had basketball camp. That's why we had the time to say, hey, okay, he's doing what he loves. Let's go do what we love. So all y'all aunties are like, you left TJ. No, you already know that TJ cannot be left out of fun. So that's what happened. Not like I owe you an explanation, but all your aunties were reaching out like, where's Mutiji? And it's like, I TJ Mawani. So, but yeah, he was almost stranded, and thank God. I'm telling you, God will move, because he was supposed to be with the other parent this last week, and they forgot that. Anyway, let's just leave that alone. Just a snack. You're not too funny. Being placed in removal proceedings doesn't mean the individual is going to be automatically deported. No, because you still would have due process. You should have due process in court. Master calendar hearing, an individual marriage hearing, and if God forbid it doesn't go your way, you have appeals option. So no. Now there are people who are placed next without removal, those who have been in the country less than 2 years. But if that doesn't apply to you, then you're going to go through the normal court process. Can someone still adjust? Okay. Oh, what was I doing? Okay. Oh, I didn't even know put that on. Can someone still adjust from visiting to student visa with this administration, and what's the success percentage? I can't give you a percentage. Don't know anything about your case, but can you still file a change of status application? Yes, nothing says you cannot. Thank you, Mr. Sanctuary. Yes, and we represent immigration clients in all 50 states. I got my 2 years green card and applied for 10 years green card, but got separated from my husband and changed my address. Am I okay, or have to inform USCIS that we're separated? So you don't want to risk USCIS doing an investigation and they say that you're not living together, and now they suspect that it's not a good fit marriage. If you know that there's going to be a divorce process started by either of the two of you, then you want to go ahead and do that and get that out of the way and inform USCIS that you are converting to a divorce waiver ground rather than risk getting your green card. Yes, if you've not been divorced, there won't be anything like that. But what I'm saying is you just want to make sure that you're not risking that. We don't so vacuum. That was my oldest kid. Does your firm file for EB1? We no longer do that. I only do EB1. I take that back. We no longer do. So I know you're probably asking for self-petition. I no longer do self-petition EB1 or EB2. I only now represent employers. Have a limited pause. You don't put last ones in trouble. It wasn't TJ that was back there. It was my oldest kid. Hello from California. Thank you, Miss Nepal. Big brain things. Well, it would be family without us. We put back the fun in the family. Y'all do. I ain't gonna lie. Last born kids or something. Because judging from my sister and my kid, y'all are something. Y'all a whole lot, but y'all bring the fun. Because my sis is, that child. How old is she? 41. She's something. And so is my kid. But y'all are fun. Gotta give that to you for real. Everyone, I want to say a big thank you to our only finest auntie at Finest Shandy. She brought my package all the way from Niger. Oh, thank you, Finest Shandy. She's a very sweet lady. Very, very sweet lady. Yeah, you still owe me that seafood okra, and I'm going to remind you. You might need my address too soon. Okay, we'll say to that. All right. Hello, Mr. Gumbiade. How are you? Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I haven't done a request in a while. So let's see if we have time to do a request and send someone asking a question. It's a note right now. Yeah, some things are just not a yes or no. Why would a VAW be sent to immigration court for visa overstay when clearly abuse must happen in U.S.? Listen, there are a lot of things that are not making sense with this administration. So it doesn't stop you from doing the VAW petition. Is not what sent you to court. It's just the overstay part of it. VAW petition is exclusively filed with USCIS, but you don't have to necessarily be physically present to file a VAW petition. That's just the truth. It's just that whenever you had a VAW, especially combined with an I-485, it was never an issue for them to refer you to immigration court and just wait for your case to be adjudicated. Things are different now. You don't need to know for getting that no two cases. Tell me about it. Where's the lie? Alan Gal just got back from Jamaica. How was your trip? Good to have you back. Jamaica on my mind now. There was to come back and talk about that 6-page RFE. Yep. Listen, you just have some Facebook friends. If you got married before the child was 18, but had to do VAW, now the child is over 21, when VAW was approved, will it be hard to file for that child? Okay, I'm not sure I understand your question, but if the marriage occurred, so let me just put it this way. If the marriage to the abusive spouse occurred before the child turned 18 and the child was included in your VAW petition, then it doesn't matter that the child is now over 21 as long as that child, there was no adjustment status filed, as long as that child was under the 18 and the VAW petition was filed before the child turned 21, that locks in the child's age if your spouse was a citizen. And I'm assuming that the spouse was a citizen. So what you just need to do is, you don't even have to file for the child. You just have to, if the child is here, the child files to adjust status. If the child is abroad, then you file an 824 for them to notify the embassy that the child is going to be applying for an immigrant visa. So that's the best way I can explain that. But I don't know anything about your case. So if you want to be certain that that applies to, that explanation applies to your case, sit down with the lawyer. Y'all, I have to stress, I love to do this every Tuesday and Thursday. It actually helps quite a number of people. I consulted with Mr. Diop this afternoon, one of my clients, or one of my to-be clients, and he was able to get a lot of things cleared out with his former attorney based on what he was listening and watching on my videos. So I get that. It helps. But it is not a replacement or a substitute for a detailed consultation about your specific case. So you're going to do yourself more harm than good if you're trying to save pennies and then end up spending a whole lot more than you would have done to start with. So some questions is not just about yes, no. Some questions really need, or some situations really need you to sit down and get a detailed clarification and strategy on your case, or to know what options you have. Since you would have just flipped the numbers now. 14, 41. Oh, Lord. Listen, happy 14 to 24. I hear you. Last words are always with mama. That's why. Listen, that's my sidekick right there. Well, the funny thing is, both my sons are mama's voice, to be honest with you. No shame in our game. Don't like it, that's your problem. But the oldest one is 20, so he's going to be like tough kid. Like baby is 14. He's always under my nose. Always under my nose. It's like, go. And the one young woman got hello, June Crate, how are you? I'm last born boy and still the baby at the airport. Thank you. At least we agree on this about last one. Yeah, on that one I'll give you. I'm a last born like a first. Well, that's a different one. But my own last born and our firstborn work, I did. Sorry, Miss Becky. I would like to ask questions, recalendar someone case by D. I would like to ask questions, recalendar someone case by DHS. I'm not sure what the question you're asking is. Husband is a green card. Okay, so you're going to have to sit down with a lawyer and do, because then the age status thing is going to have to kick in with someone who's a green card holder. So this is not a yes no answer to your question. So that's the first analysis I do before you not go ahead and not file for that child, because if you're the only relevance of you trying to see if the child will still maintain an under 21 age is number one, if it was a citizen abusive spouse, that locks in. But with green card holder spouse, that's different. You've got to now do the age protection calculation thing. So this is not a yes no question to your answer to your question. Okay. Hello, Epic Movements. How are you? Okay. All right. Let's see. If I accept your invitation, don't now come on and then sign out, because that's not going to work. Let's see. All right. What other questions do we have? Let's see. You're welcome, Nola. Okay. How do I go about filing for my kids under 15 as a U.S. citizen? Their mom filed asylum for them. I-130s is what you file. If you're not sure, sit down with a lawyer or get a lawyer to help you out. Can a green card holder travel to anything about travel? That's another question I'm going to answer. It was left with like 4 days before my 2-year deadline for VAWA, but I sent it overnight. But when I got the receipt, it showed 1 day past. Okay, that is a statutory requirement. There's no exemption to that. My husband's lost his EAD card 5 years ago, and he applied again. But it was not. He applied again. He says he's getting money from other means. Have you? No lie. Sit down with a lawyer to figure out your case. Okay. The way he's killing his lawyer, but God is faithful. I know it is, but God is faithful. He really is. You got the fact. See, there are a lot of things. I don't want you to be mad at me. I sent you a text. You sent me a text. Okay, I'll have to check when I'm done. There are a lot of things happening. Too many. Some things just don't make sense. You know, it's almost like every day there's always going to be that. Okay, you know, when I start seeing, because if you've been my client, I'm extremely detailed. I mean, like I overwork my staff. If RSL people, if they can work with me, they can work with anybody. Like I'm up 2 a.m., 3 a.m. sometimes still reviewing files. And I don't know how sometimes I'm operating on 2-3 hours of sleep maximum. Like this morning, for instance, because I knew I had court and I had to, but I had some cases that we had to review. I'm just getting back in from being away for last week. So I went to bed at 2:45 a.m. up at 6. But so I know what it is. Thank you, Epic Movement. So when I started getting this boilerplate RFEs in my cases, like this, I was frustrated. Frustrated is an understatement. But I got to a point where, because we have a lady who does our social media posts, but I do the inspirational quotes myself. But it's not just for encouraging other people, so encourage myself. So when I, sometimes I get to that point and I tell myself, you know what, I can stress about it, but it's not going to change what has happened. Or I can pray about it and leave it at the altar of grace for that creator who is able to change the outcome in spite of what has happened. So you got to choose how you want your outlook to be. And so in spite of what's going on around us, it's a daily and conscious decision that we have to make. It's a lot, but we've got to make it. They're trying the best they can to frustrate people from getting any paper. It's, call it spade a spade. We know what is going on. We're knowing what they're trying to make this country look like. But the strong believer is he who has begun a good work in you. There's no way God has brought us this far to let us be disgraced and embarrassed and become, nuisances or be humiliated out of if it's your God ordained destiny. There's nothing anyone can do to undo it. So we just have to take it one day at a time, Mr. Joe. One day at a time. Okay. What can you do if your adjustment of status is pending for over 3 years and all they have sent is your application is actively being reviewed? file a lawsuit. I am filing for my grown, my I am filing my grown son if he came here as a child. Miss Pam, I don't understand your question. I'm not really sure what you're asking. You're welcome. Yes. Yes, faith over fear. Yes, faith over fear. Each day, every day. It's a daily decision. Faith over fear. So, how long does it take to get a biometrics appointment after USA has received your? It varies. There's no telling. Usually, it shouldn't take more than 30 days, but it varies. Yes, faith over fear. You're welcome, Miss Dojo. That's all we got. What else you got? If you've got Jesus, you've got all you need. My car, I'm stationed in my car. If it's not on Keith Daniel, who's my favorite Afrobeat artist, it's on K-Lo, and I think there's one of the songs. I've got Jesus. If I've got Jesus, I've got everything. And we're going to have those trials and tribulations each day. And so now when I see myself getting frustrated with something not going my way, especially when I know I've worked so hard for something and it doesn't go the way I'm expecting it to go, I remind myself that I can either worry, which is hard because we're human, we're channeled to worry. But then you can either do that or you can just dial it back and say, I would choose to pray and leave it in the hands of my creator, because he knows even before what is happening happened, he knew it was going to happen. And there's no way he would not see me through. There's no how he would not give me the grace and the power and the authority to conquer, to speak towards this, towards the storm. Peace be still. And so that it works out in my favor. Hello, Queen Khadija. How are you? All right. I think we've gone through all the questions. And we've also recognized all the lastborn association members. What do you think about the new enforcement by landlords by ICE to disclose tenants? Listen, there are lawsuits, and see, I've never seen a time where there's so much litigation going on in American courts like within the last 6 months. And keep in mind, we're just barely even 6 months in. Barely even. They're trying to save money, but the amount of money that has been spent in this crazy, big, beautiful nonsense that they passed, just waste, complete waste. But yet you're trying to save it. Gosh. Yeah. But anyway. Hello, Mr. Akim. How are you? Okay. I'm the last born too. All right, Miss Deborah. All y'all showing your faces now. Will the principal be asked while the petitioner petitioned for them? I guess it must be a question before then. Let's see. What's your initial question? Do VAW applicants have protection if ICE ever detains them? Unless you've been given, your VAW has been approved and you've got notice of deferred action. Deferred action is basically the protection against being placed in removal proceedings, but a pending VAW petition does not prevent you from being placed in removal proceedings. I got a 10-year green card. When should I apply for citizenship? Depends on how you got it, when you got it. If you're in the military, so you're 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, it just depends. So that's a very generic question. It depends on what your situation is. Okay. Let me go back to your question. Will the principal be asked why the petitioner petitioned for them? What principal, Yasmin, what principal is being asked what? In what situation? Visa interview, who's the principal? Who's the petitioner? I don't understand what you're asking. It's been 2 years, went for interview and no response from USCIS. What do you suggest? File a lawsuit. If you've already called, you've done congressional assistance. We used to have ombudsman inquiry. They closed down that office. You've made inquiries, e-requests, and nothing. File a lawsuit. Yeah, people are still filing lawsuits. Yeah, it's a crazy time, but it doesn't stop you from being able to file a lawsuit. Okay. All right, people. Okay. All right, I think we got to all of that. All right. Does I-589 need to get a lawyer now? Does I-589, you mean an asylum applicant? Is that what you're asking? You know, some of these questions I'm not. Okay. How long does it take for the case to come after you apply? When they approve their case, I guess. Okay. Okay, let me answer that question. Is there any way to make the process faster? Why have applied at May 2022? Never heard anything from 2022. I'm suspecting whoever the petitioner is a green card holder, because the citizen case would not an I-130 file, but its citizen would not take that long. Okay. All right, everyone. So thank you always for always joining. I'm hopeful that every time, God bless you for your time. We'll see you Thursday. Thank you. Your lastborns love Jesus too much. Yes, you do. Lions life is full of lastborns. Hey, y'all just something. But listen, each and every time we thank God for his grace. We got each and every day we thank God for his grace, but for his grace, but for his protection, but for his grace. And as long as and his grace, that unmerited favor, it is more than sufficient to cover us and to keep us and to see us through. And so there's nothing that's going to, don't let fear cripple you. That's the hope. And I keep saying that. That is the goal, but don't let fear cripple you. Remember that he hasn't given us a spirit of fear. So in spite of it, if someone was just placed in renewal proceedings and she is scared, no, you know what, out of her mind. And I said, it's okay. I know it's scary, but it's okay. If there's nothing that's going to disrupt God's plan for your life, if he brought you thus far, and this is where your destiny is, in spite of it, the same God who parted the Red Sea, the same God who spared his own children from where their doors were marked by the blood of the Lamb, he is going to defend and step in when it needs to. So just hang in there. It is going to work out in your favor, because not an iota of his word will go back to him without being accomplished. And if his word says all things work together for our good, if it has not been for your good, then it's not the final chapter of that story. So wait until you see that all things have worked together for your good, because it is not man that he should lie. I'll see you guys on Thursday.